Welcome race fans! NAGP TV is live tonight from Spa. And my name's Jack Ivey and I'm along with Kenny Hot Rodriguez. How you doing, Ken?
Thanks, Jack. We're doing fine, and we want to welcome all of our race fans out there and our viewers to NAGP TV, live from Spa, Belgium.
Well, we got 1.5 hours with a nighttime qualifying.
That indeed we do, Jack, and as it is. We all know that Spa, being the GT2 finale, is also the mid-season hoorah for these GT1 fellas, and this track here, a total of 20 turns, 20 corners, with the infamous Raidillon Au Rouge, which has claimed many victims in the past.
Yeah, that is one corner that, one combination series of corners that is a real race ender for a lot of these guys. A lot of the times can be very treacherous at the speeds they take this.
It is, and I think one thing that we need to keep in mind here, Jack, is as I was watching practice, a lot of these folks come in full bore up through Eau Rouge. We see them go up on 3, even 2 wheels, and that's one of the secrets to Eau Rouge, is that it's one of those zero gravity combinations at the end there. You are going uphill, and then your car just kind of gets light on its wheels and starts to skate all over the place if you're not in the right position. But this track here holds a big significance for a lot of our drivers. They've been racing here since November of 2007. That was the first running of the mid-season race here, and ever since it's been a staple in the GT1 series.
Absolutely. This is the mid-season classic, and these guys know the track well, so it's not a matter of getting to learn the track. They all want to perform brilliantly here. It's one of their favorite tracks. One of my favorite tracks, too.
Yep, absolutely. And I got a little trivia for you. From the times that we've run here, Greg Myers has competed in all 18 races and covered the most distance of anyone that has raced here in the mid-season classic. He's covered about 4,500 kilometers.
No surprise to me, really. Might be a surprise to some of you other viewers out there, but Mr. Smooth, this is one of those tracks where if you drive the line and can get some consistent laps in, over the long haul, you're going to come out at the top of the pack.
Absolutely. The qualifying record so far here has been 2:09. That was set back. That was set by Aaron Parsons just last season, as a matter of fact, during the mid-season classic here at Spa.
Wow, 2:09. That is blisteringly fast.
That is blisteringly fast. That was done in the dry, but we got nighttime qualifying right now. Track conditions of 99, ambient of 83. So hoping these guys decided to open up their radiators at least one more click. Nighttime racing here can get tricky.
Yeah, you know, and we got mention of that out of the last week's qualifying. The guys smoking their engines, they got to get the heck off the track because it is an impediment to the guys coming up behind. They just can't see what's going on.
It most certainly is here. So looking forward to a great qualifying session here at Spa and a great race immediately after.
Yes, it definitely will be. This might be a good time while the guys are getting their laps in right now, getting their hot laps in, just to give you a little bit of a driver update. Championship-wise, Andre Preito with 67 points is in the lead, but Rich Roman with 66, Chris Moses with 62, and David Poole with 55. So there are 4 top drivers real in close. John Sportelli, Parsons, White, Ludden with 33. Big Al with 33 as well. Brad Maris with 26, and Marco Conti with 24. So the Drivers' Championship is still pretty much wide open for these guys and hotly contested. PMR is in the lead with the team championship so far with 95 points. In second is Preito and Conti, Sorshi Verdi with 91, and Rolf Sport Sportelli and Sam Rolfe. And I think a lot of that is Sportelli is having a dynamite season this year. H&C, Roman and Cole was 77. 05, Werner and Caldani was 61. And T broke Dam Bam, Myers and Parson with 54. That's your team and drivers update.
That's very interesting. The drivers battle sounds like it's quite interesting there with so many folks within close proximity points wise. Speaking of the championships, I understand that there was some issues going on last week. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run down the penalties just to do some housekeeping here after the first lap review. Yeah, that's a lot of fun, isn't it? After the first lap review from last week, we saw that Mike Trussler, he lost control, spun across the inside wall, taking out John Wathen, and John Wathen unfortunately was taken to the back of the field. So the penalty Mike Trussler has to serve this week is a no qualifying. And we also had turn 2, according to the competition committee. Ian Jolicoeur and Andre Preito have side-by-side contact, which forces Preito to spin. Jolicoeur did not hold to his side of the racing groove, pushing up at the apex. Preito loses 10 positions in that fiasco, along with some other unavoidable contacts. So the penalty here, Ian Jolicoeur, no qualifying.
And boy, that has been a contentious one, I must say, Ken. The vet has been live and vocal on that one, but we all know you can't fight City Hall, and Ian's just going to have to sit this one out, start at the back of the pack, and just make his way through. But kudos to Ian. This is one of his best tracks, and I look for this guy to make it all the way up into the top 10, undoubtedly.
No doubt, if anybody can do it, Ian Jolicoeur is certainly one of the many very talented drivers that we have here at NAGP that can, and more than likely will pull something like that off into a top 10 or better. So keep your eyes out on Ian Jolicoeur to our viewers out there. Unfortunately, I was absent last week from the broadcast and from racing, so this one came as a bit of a shock, but as Jack indicated, there was a lot of banter back and forth. So perhaps more to come on this. Continuing on with the penalties, however, we had also in turn 2 at Hockenheim, Greg Myers getting into the back of Aaron Parsons, causing him to spin. Christian Hamilton also was involved in that little schmozzle, stalling and then rejoining at the rear of the field. So Greg Myers unfortunately has to serve a no qualifying penalty. And John Cuppett lost control, turn 10, getting into the middle of the track, collecting Lou Mascarelli and Chuck Carter. Unfortunately, Lou was the he received the worst end of that stick because he lost considerable time plus damage. So Jonathan Cuppett also serving no qual for this race. And that about rounds out our penalties from last week, which we'll be seeing served this week here, Jack.
Well, we do have, actually there is four more. Timestamps submitted. Juan Monroy is going to pick up 10 kilograms. Gup Douglas is going to pick up 10. Schleif and Gup Douglas, just a racing incident. And Gup gets a warning for some at-fault contact. So there is a lot of bumping and grinding going out there, but that's what we expect here. These guys are super competitive.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. There's no doubt about that. And we see this both in GT1. We see it also in GT2. This past week's race at Monza was quite the debacle at times, especially on the start.
Well, the starts are always contentious here. Best advice is keep your nose clean. Try not to pick up any contact because that's just aero damage, and that really hurt everybody at Monza. And in the long run, you got an hour to run your competitors down. There's no need to get it done in the first 10 seconds of the race.
Nope, that is absolutely true. That is one rule that I live by on the starts. It's no secret. I'm not a mid-packer. I'm a backpacker. So I actually get to see all the fun stuff that goes on in the starts ahead of time. But the advantage is that I get to drive my way around it most of the times.
Absolutely. I started near the back of the pack in last Monday's race, and I was pleasantly pleased to drive by everybody that was off the track.
As was I, Jack, so I'm right there with you. So, we'll turn our attention now to this qualifying session. We're here, it's God knows what time it is here in Belgium. It looks like it's midnight. What do we got going on out on the track, Jack?
Well, Sportelli has got the provisional pole right now at 2:11.173 with Poole and Ryan Schleif with a 2:11.354. Ryan doing really well out there in that Pagani Huayra. Parsons in fourth, and Marty, you were in fifth. So the top six drivers all in the 2:11s right now. So it's close.
It is. I am surprised, however, that no one right now at the moment has come close to the record-setting lap that was set by Aaron Parsons of a 2:08. These guys are about 3 seconds off that pace. Not sure if they're going to try and push and get close to it, but that was a 2:08 here at Spa is a remarkable feat to accomplish.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't fathom that. I just don't know how they would clip 3 seconds off this current time here, other than we are in the dark, but they do know this track like the back of their hands, so the dark shouldn't be that big an impediment as long as we've got some good track conditions, and it's 100-degree track temp with an 82 ambient, so they've got the conditions to do it.
Yeah, they absolutely do, Jack. They absolutely do. So let's talk about some ballast here. I know that we have some folks with success ballast as well as penalty ballast, and I'll just do a quick rundown here. Andres Preito is carrying around 22 pounds. David Poole, 44 pounds. Chris Moses got 66 pounds. But above all, Brad Maris with 88. Gup Douglas with 22, and Matt Taylor with 44 pounds. Of the drivers that are currently active and on track right now, those are your ballast carriers.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how that ballast is going to affect these guys over the hour and a half and 36 laps that we're going to be doing here tonight.
That it will.
Yeah, the other little point I picked up earlier is it looks like the French connection of Savoie and Weissman have made a car switch. This would be their last opportunity to make a switch of cars. They dropped the Aston Martin for the Porsche, and the Aston Martin was rated pretty high in this car pack.
That it was. I remember speaking to Chris Moses before the season start, and he had indicated that the Porsche was a very hot car.
Yeah, David Poole mentioned that in the pre-race chatter up on Vent there, that both of the cars were good, but he was a little surprised at the change.
Yeah, no doubt, Jack. Changing cars, you know, it's a hit or miss sometimes. But I'm imagining that these folks, the French connection, may have had some testing time in the Porsche and decided that this was probably the better way to go for them.
Yeah, just out on track right now. We got Sergio Calderon sitting in P10 right now. He's doing a great job out there tonight. Sergio coming around to his last split. Little tough going through the chicane there. In that older Ferrari F40.
Aaron Parsons flexing his muscles with a 210 up top, huh?
Whoa. So, he is headed in the right direction to show everybody else the way to qualify on this track, and he's headed out again.
That and Ryan Schleif answering with a 210.7 in the Pagani Huayra.
Yeah, we're going to have to keep our eyes on Ryan. You know, if he can keep it together for the whole race and get some consistency in his laps, this guy has really been a surprise.
No doubt. And the car that he's driving, him and his teammates certainly have figured out something with the car setup wise. They got it hooked up as they just went through a route together actually.
Yeah, I'm on board there with Ryan right now. And like I said, you know, it looks like they got the car figured out. If he can keep the consistency together, he's going to shake up some of these top drivers.
Yeah, absolutely, and that'll be an interesting thing to see, considering that we here at NAGP, all of our drivers are flexible, but the top guys are so accustomed to driving with one another. Throwing an additional ingredient into the recipe there could turn out to be an interesting watch here at this race if Ryan Schleif can keep it up there.
I like the analogy, Ken. Very well put. And you're right. You know, you get these drivers, they're used to running nose to tail with each other. And, you know, you put Ryan in there and he might not have the track time running nose to tail with some of the other drivers and not be familiar with them. And it might be very interesting.
I believe so. I believe so. It's like adding that extra ingredient to your favorite soup recipe.
But that's what makes it interesting around here at NAGP, I got to tell you. So just a little shout out to anybody who may catch this broadcast. If you like what you're seeing here and you want to get involved, by all means, come on along, because it's not all about running at the front of the pack. It's about driving competitively and having fun. So get hooked up with one of the guys on the one of the admins at NAGP and come out and drive with us on Mondays for GT2, or Thursdays for GT1, or Saturdays for some iRacing.
Yep, absolutely. And as one poster in the forums posted some time ago, where else can you come but to NAGP to spend some quality time with some of your closest online buddies? And this league is certainly one that has accomplished much of that throughout the years.
Yeah, great camaraderie around here, some great people to get to know. We got a bunch of characters too, which makes it always interesting. But also, as far as fields go, we've got some of the largest fields to race with. I mean, we're getting upwards of 40 guys out a night on Monday nights, and it's just absolutely brilliant to see that many guys want to come out and race.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like tonight, Jack, 30 racers out there. It's a considerable and a sizable field for us racing on the sim that we do, GTR2, which has aged. It's a little long in the tooth, but it shows just how much these folks love the competition. They have that competitive spirit. They also have that camaraderie spirit, and it shows here at NAGP.
Now I just got over to the leaderboard there so we can take a look. We've got Parsons at a 210.703 and Ryan Schleif at a 210.717. So Schleif is just about putting up matching laps to Aaron Parsons. We've got Andre Preito at 210.9, and that's it in the 210s. The rest are popping up into the 211s. Sportelli, Poole, Savoie, Cole, Urin, top drivers out there. Chris Moses still in the very close to a 212 flat. And Salem Montgomery Jr. breaking into the top 10 with a 212.143. So there's your top 10. Pretty impressive top 10 there.
Yep, absolutely. Salem Montgomery Jr. earlier, I heard him during practice. Apparently they have some secret weapon set up for that McLaren car. He was driving in the wet and said that it felt like if the track was dry. So we're going to have to keep an eye on him.
Yes, and talking about wet, you know, I think the chance of rain was average. Chance of rain's average for tonight. And we'll have to watch and see. We'll have to keep our eye on those McLarens and see if they actually do have a secret wet setup. As well as if it does go wet, going to have to look at my favorite wet driver, Mark O'Connie, and keep an eye on him.
Yes, Mr. Conti, one of our colored drivers here at NAGP TV. Always good to read his post-race comments, as well as catch up with him in the Ventrilo servers after a race and listen to him. Certainly one of our talented drivers, one of our many talented drivers here at NAGP.
I am waiting for Marco's book on NAGP to come out, and I will be the first one to buy a copy of that one.
I don't know. I think I might beat you to it, Jack.
I just love reading his posts, and Marco, if you're watching this the rebroadcast, keep it up. We all love it here. Everybody loves reading your post-race analysis and lap by lap. So we love your postings there.
Absolutely. And Jack, I just want to revert back to something. You went over the team championships a little earlier, and you mentioned Caldani. Now, looking back at the website, I believe that there has been a change in the team with David Poole, where Caldani is not listed in the other colorful circus-colored Lamborghini.
Well, thank you very much. Now, who is running in the other Lambo?
Very good question. We're going to have to check on that and get back to our viewers. But I haven't seen Caldani in several weeks.
Well, while we're busy on a leaderboard and chitty-chatty, Ryan Schleif has taken provisional pole. So
unbelievable.
Yes, and by a fair margin, 0.2 of a second too, if I'm not mistaken, when I was looking there. So he has got that Pagani hooked up big time.
Yeah, and 0.2 certainly not very easy to make up here among the top drivers. 0.2 of a second might as well be 5 whole seconds, because when you're running that close in a pack, you know, it's really hard to make up those tenths of a second. And speaking of tenths of a second, we see Kevin Savoy just make a leap up into third spot with a 2:10.715. So he's throwing his hat to the mix as well.
And you've got that right on. He sure has. Now, Schleif is just starting his last lap, and Savoy is out on track, so we're going to catch Savoy. He's ahead of Caldani, and he's taking it a little slippy and slidey and wide. The other driver we have to keep our eye on is going to be Parsons, to see if he comes out for a last gasp. And Savoy is off by 0.7 of a second.
So getting back to what we were talking about with 05 Motorsport, it looks like Andrew Werner is the new addition to the 05 Motorsports. Don't see Andrew online tonight, but that's what's listed on the website.
Yeah, you know, you're absolutely correct there. It is Werner and Poole, and I think Caldani was really subbing in while Werner was away, and maybe Andrew's having some trouble getting the time to get on track with us.
Well, we certainly hope that if that's the case, that circumstances change. We certainly love watching Caldani drive. He has been a pleasure to watch and commentate on, and just an overall, just an all-around pleasure to have here with us at in the GT1 ranks.
Yes, and he is definitely one of the youngest drivers out there. So my hats off to the young guns that are coming in.
Yep, absolutely.
Another unsung hero that we've got out there is Juan Monroy, and he is currently sitting in provisional 4th place. He is on a hot lap now, coming up to his first sector.
Yeah, I heard mention in the on the Ventrilo server that Monroy had that Ferrari F40 trimmed out really nice.
Well, he must, to be sitting up there in P4 right now. That's a great position for him to start at. And you know what? I'm not going to be surprised if we see Juan break through and win one of these races this season.
No, he has shown some really good improvements lately, as of late, between last season and this one. So certainly an opportunity for this young man to come up through the ranks and grab some podiums and even maybe a win.
Yeah, I'm on board with Preito, and he's gone through his sector split, coming into the chicane, and I think he is going. If he can hold this last couple of corners together, I think he's going to pick up a spot or two.
Yep, just jumped on board with him as he comes into La Source.
Picked up one to fourth because somebody else picked up Savoie in third, Parsons in second, Ryan Schleif in first. So qualifying done. I don't know if anybody's going to make it through. Sportelli's still out on a hot lap, and he probably won't make it.
Yeah, I am looking at Andres Cole as well. Don't think that he's got the time to make it through. He's coming into the bus stop now, so he actually may have the opportunity to get through real quick if this 1 minute doesn't go by.
Yeah, along with Chuck Carter just coming out of La Source. And, oh, man, Chuck just got robbed on that one.
Yeah.
About 10 feet from the start finish.
So, wow. So qualifying is now over. And what a surprise we have tonight.
I'm loving this. I'm just absolutely loving it. Ryan Schleif, kudos to you there, brother, for taking the pole at Spa, slapping everybody down by 0.2 of a second, as you mentioned earlier. That's quite significant.
It certainly is quite significant, and since I've been broadcasting, Jack, I've not seen Ryan Schleif take a pole, but certainly good on Ryan, and certainly good to see here from the broadcasting perspective to see someone else that's typically not on pole sit at the pole, especially at such a challenging and tough track such as Spa.
Yeah, this start is going to be, probably a little nerve-wracking for Ryan at the beginning. I mean, he's got Parsons, Savoie, Preito, and Poole. We got a couple of aggressive drivers out there, and not slapping anybody, but just everybody knows we got a couple of aggressive ones up at the front there, and that is a downhill start into Eau Rouge, and let's just hope I gave him a heads up, get your handbrake set. You don't want to be rolling off this grid. And that first go through Eau Rouge is going to be a knuckler for Ryan Schleif.
It certainly is, Jack. I'm just placing myself into his shoes here. What it might be like, and I certainly don't envy the position that Ryan Schleif is in right now.
Well, I do envy it. It sure would be nice to grab a pole. Even if I had to let everybody drive by me, at least there's one in the books for you, Ryan.
There you go. So hopefully he gets a good start, and we'll be ready to run down the order here in a couple minutes. But let's talk about picks here. What do you have any favorites tonight?
Well, yeah, I do. I got the wonder from down under. I mean, he's, as you mentioned earlier, he's got the track record. He's got the qualifying record. If anybody's got this track nailed down, I think Mr. Parsons has got it nailed down, and I think in an hour and a half, that would be my pick to take the podium tonight.
Okay. Well, I gotta say that I'm gonna go a little bit of a different route here, and I'm probably going to list my favorite for tonight as Chris Moses, considering the amount of wins that he has here. 4 wins, but Aaron Parsons also has 4. And so does David Canavan and Greg Myers, who has competed in all of them. But my pick for tonight, Chris Moses.
Good pick. Another dark horse there. We can't rule him out. He's having a great season so far this year. Is John Sportelli.
Yeah, absolutely. John Sportelli starting 8th tonight, so certainly can't rule him out. I think tonight's race is going to come down to pit strategies, and if we get any type of adverse weather, that's gonna play havoc on these drivers as well.
Yeah, I think long-term experience in detrimental conditions, if we get wet or changeable wet dry conditions in the race, you know, we can look for somebody like a pit wizard, Chris Moses, to pull off some stuff in the pits. Yeah, pretty much we can throw everything out the window if we're going to get rain here tonight and see who's best prepared.
I have to agree with you, Jack, and you know that we have several that are very talented in the wet stuff. But right now, our conditions are 99, dry, ambient temperature of 82, and the forecast calls for the same during the race. But then again, we all know that this random weather mod that we run can change its mind pretty quickly.
Well, it did indeed. On Monday night, it sure threw a wrench at everybody on Monday with that bit of rain, and dried up as quick as it started raining.
It certainly did, but you know, I was out there. I had just pitted half a lap before it started raining, and my tires quickly became ice cubes in that wet stuff because I had opted for mediums, and had to make a second pit for inters, and things went well from there. So certainly it was tricky, all right.
Yeah, it seemed like inters was the way to go there. I pulled in, and just as soon as they put my tires on, it stopped raining. So I went out with some wet tires on the dry track, and didn't bode well. Wasn't one of my best evenings, but on we go. NAGP GT1 Thursday night. Oh, we just got a chat message from Krishna Khalili. His game crashed. You know, worst way to ruin your evening, Kreshnik, but thanks for joining in.
Yeah, certainly sorry about that, Kreshnik, but glad you could join us on the broadcast. If you want to hang around, stay on. You'll get to watch the race and see who ends up coming out on top.
Yep, so big movers tonight. I'm looking for Greg Myers and Ian Joliker to make big charges from the back.
Yeah, certainly. Some others to keep an eye on. Rich Roman, Sportelli, Uran also starting in 8th, so I mean 7th. So these guys can also move up quickly through the field here at Spa.
Yeah, we've seen some great racing in that, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 order there. They're all very close in time. They have been in the previous races. I'm looking for that again. There's been some really, really great, you know, nose-to-tail racing. So we're going to keep our eye on there. And also, you know, for the rest of the mid-packers, we're going to keep your eye on any battle going on. We're going to try and do our best, and we're going to follow the battles that are going on.
Yep, absolutely. And speaking of those folks from like the 6th, the 7th, down to the mid-pack, one thing that we have to keep in mind, these guys are passionate about their racing, and it shows out on the racetrack sometimes. Sometimes in not so good a way, but typically these guys are good with one another, and they just drive the wheels off their cars.
Yes, I'm going to put a couple of shout-outs out. We may have, you know, Alex White, the White Lightning. He may be joining us in the broadcast booth. His current employment is playing havoc with his joining up on Thursday night. So a little shout-out to his dad, though. His dad's in Australia and quite often catches the broadcast. And if you can't catch the broadcast, he watches it afterwards. Also, Andre Preito, big shout out there to your friends in Colombia. So we'll keep an eye on Andre for you guys. It was Andre told me that his friends and family in Colombia watch the races, so we're going to keep our eyes out for Andre. And hey, join the chat message. Throw a chat up. We'll definitely grab your favorite driver.
Good stuff there, Jack. Absolutely. We always welcome our viewers onto the broadcast.
And just a little note there, invite some of your friends and family to get on, watch the broadcast, throw up the chat. We'll give them lots of love on our TV show. So getting close here. Warm-up's done. Drivers have had their instructions, which I think will be pretty short and succinct. They'll be saying, guys, take it easy out there on the start, and let's get a good, clean first lap in.
Yep, absolutely. And one thing to keep in mind, the 10% cut rule is in effect tonight. So keep it clean, don't cut, otherwise you will be getting some penalties and maybe even docked some laps.
Yes, and I am really looking forward to seeing the Monday night cuts. I was passed by a couple of guys with cuts. I mean, they just blew right through the chicanes. I know I'm a little slower, but I'm really interested to see what's going to happen on the Monday night when they get the cut review in.
Yep, absolutely. And we just turned over to the race. So, Jack, want to start off the rundown?
On pole, congratulations, Ryan Schleif in P2, Aaron Parsons, Kevin Savoy in 3, Andre Preito in 4, and David Poole in 5th.
Starting 6th, Juan Monroy. Marty Uren will take the 7th spot. John Sportelli starting in 8, Rich Roman starting in 9, and Andres Cole rounds out your top 10.
Pit Wizard Chris Moses in 11, Christian Hamilton in 12th, and that's a good qualify for Chris, and along with Salem Montgomery in P13. Good on you. And Sergio Calderon in 14th, Brad Marison 15th.
Big John Wathen will start out 16th, and Marco Conti 17th. John McIntyre will start in 18th, and 19th position Gup Douglas, and Matt Taylor will start in P20.
Daniel Wilkerson in 21st, Lou Masciarelli in 22nd, Paul Hall in 23rd, and Thomas Schubeck in 24th. Ian Joliker with a no-qual in 25th.
Right, and starting 26th, Mike Trussler. 27th will go to Jonathan Cuppett. Gregory Myers in 28th. Sam Rolfe in 29th. And John Ludden makes 30.
Yeah, and I do believe Rolfe and Ludden joined late, so good on them to get with us.
So what do you think, Jack? We have about 20 seconds to the green flag drops, man. What do you think is going to happen here at the start for Schleif?
I think he's got to get through Eau Rouge clean, and I do think the drivers behind him are going to give him the courtesy and let him get through that first bit.
I agree they'll let him get through Eau Rouge, but you got Aaron Parsons, Kevin Savoy, who's certainly one of the ones that love to go quick, right behind him. So this is going to be very interesting as we wait for the green flag to drop.
And Schleif off to a great start. Boy, he dropped a hammer there. And cold tires hang on to her. And he did.
What
he
a
got
start.
Through. Yes. And we've got Parsons and Preito, Poole in behind, but Schleif, what a rocket start he's got. Holy jumping. Savoy off the track. Preito in 3rd, Poole in 4th, Savoy back on for 5th, but we've got H&C, we've got Cole, Roman, Chris Moses up to 8th, Marty Uren in 9th, Montgomery up to 10th, Marison 11th, and Christian Hamilton in 12th. So it looks fairly clean here.
Yeah, absolutely. Good start. Good on these fellas for keeping it clean through the first few turns.
That was that's, you know, I got to say, the first lap's not over, but that was one of the cleanest starts I have seen in a long time in NAGP.
Yep, I have to agree, but I have to agree with you. But how about this Ryan Schleif? He's taking an early aggressive stance, trying to check out on these guys.
Boy, oh boy, he sure is. Now, I'm not up on the technicalities about it, about the car, but how the wear is going to be on these tires here.
That's very interesting, Jack, because the Pagani Huayra is a high downforce car, although I'm pretty sure these drivers have trimmed it out as we watch Ryan Schleif going a little wide into the first entry into the bus stop chicane. But these cars are typically high downforce. They do very well on tight, twisty tracks, but as we know, Spa is not very tight, it's not very twisty, although it's got some switchback locations, but certainly one where you can lower the downforce and let it rip.
Well, the bus stop was interesting. I just cycled through the cars there at the bus stop. Very interesting, very tight there, but back up with Schleif, and boy, he has got Parsons. I'm thrilled for this guy. I think this is absolutely stunning. Go, Ryan, go.
It absolutely is. Absolutely. He's driving that car like he stole it.
And you know, if these other drivers don't pay attention, steal might be the word for it.
Absolutely, Jack.
Well, this is great to see. But Ryan, you have got the wonder from down under in behind you, and you know, unless you put 15 or 20 seconds between yourself and Mr. Parsons, don't get too comfortable.
No, not at all. I think if he's glancing up in his rearview mirrors, he'll see them there.
Now, you know, riding along with your leader there, he looks pretty clean. He looks like he's hitting the apex as well. He's smooth. Boy, he's looking good out there. So, Ryan Schleif in first, Parsons in second, Preito in third, David Poole in fourth. Savoie has slipped back to fifth. Roman and Cole. Roman's got around Cole, so 6 and 7, Roman and Cole. Chris Moses in eighth. Marty all over the back of Chris.
Yeah, Jack, and I was just all the way back in the field, and it looks like Mike Trussler in the Aston Martin may have had an off because his car is just beat to pieces. He's limping his way back, it looks like, to the pits, and he'll spend a considerable amount of time there.
Yeah, something has happened with Sergio Calderon as well. I'm just cycling through them, and the left side of that Ferrari F40 is pretty beat up too.
Yep, must have hit something
Yeah.
really hard.
Ken, I can't see it, but I don't know where Ian Jolicoeur is.
Oh, it's interesting that you mentioned Jolicoeur, because Jolicoeur has moved up to 13th.
Wow. So Ian has picked
He's
up.
a man on a mission tonight.
He has picked up. That's why I couldn't see him. I cycled through him too quick. I expected him a little farther back. So from the back of the pack, after just a few laps, he is now in the middle of the pack.
He absolutely is, and he is all over Salem Montgomery's tail, looking to get by any way he can. And a worthy mention here, Jack, I forgot to mention that we do have Brad Maris subbing in for Big Al Merriman tonight in the Ferrari F40.
Well, the resident instructor there, if anyone can pull a rabbit out of his hat, we know that Brad can. On board right now with Ian Jolicoeur. But Salem's looking pretty steady.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Salem is holding his own here. However, as I stated, Joe LaCour is a man on a mission.
Well, just a little tidbit of information. I did talk, and Joe LaCour onto the inside, side by side, but squeezes it past and takes the position away from Salem. I was just going to mention, Salem did receive his trophy for the best of the rest, so Mark O'Connie is looking all around. He says, I'm going with Ian. And Sportelli down to 15th, and Sportelli is in behind those guys. So, wow, we've got a great three-way battle going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't count out Sergio Calderon. Ferrari F40 with the tall antenna on top.
Yeah, well, he needs that. He's got a lot of communication going on with his pit crew, obviously, because he had a great qualifying, and for one of the older cars, that F40 is doing well this year.
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is, and Calderon certainly doing a wonderful job.
A little farther back there, we've got John Ludden. He is chasing down Wathen, who is chasing down McIntyre. So here's a mid-pack battle that is going to continue and continue to heat up as the race goes on.
You know, speaking of Wathen, I gotta say that that team has got that Ferrari F40 hooked up really nice. I've been watching them week after week in the GT1 category, and they run the car very clean.
Yeah, just cycle back to Matt Taylor. Boy, oh boy. That is Schleif's teammate, and I guess the car is set up for Ryan, but not too much for Matt Taylor. Back up with your leader, Ryan Schleif. So over on your leaderboard, Ryan been able to hang on to it for 3 laps now.
That's got to feel really good.
Absolutely. Down through Eau Rouge. And boy, he has got that car hooked up, and Parsons not far behind those, so Ian's not letting him run away. But they are starting to put a gap.
Yep, they certainly are. And Schleif putting down some fairly decent lap times. Looks like in the first 3 laps he's settled down a bit and realized that, you know what, if I keep it calm and smooth, I can stay up front.
And yeah, you know, if he's got the lap times, you know, with a guy like Parsons behind you, even if Ian gets past Ryan, good strategy if Ryan can hang on to Parsons, because boy, oh boy, that's a feat in itself.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Jack. These two right now have pulled out a 4.4 second lead over third place Andres Preito, so they're not kidding around tonight. Ryan and Aaron, they're trying to check out as early as possible. The race is 90 minutes, but this is Spa, and anything can happen here.
It sure can. And you know, when I get another view here, the skies, I always like to take a look at the skies and see what it's looking like, because this can change. But Preito sitting in third has put a bit of a gap in between pole, but Kevin Savoy in the Porsche, who has switched over from the Aston Martin, is not letting pole get away from him.
Yep, I see that. I just jumped on board with you there, Jack. And funny you should mention skies, because when you were mentioning that, I jumped on board with Ryan Schleif, and sure enough, we have very overcast conditions. And going back to the leaderboard, I see that our forecast has changed, where it's calling for some damp conditions.
Well, this will just throw a wrench at the pit crews. just back to Chris Moses there. Had a little bit of a bobble coming out of the source, but got it back together, and now down through Eau Rouge. And Brad Maris in the other Ferrari F40. Right behind him. Ian Jolicoeur up to P11. Chasing down Brad Maris.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting how Jolicoeur handles that, because we know that Maris is quite the driver.
Yeah, a little farther back, we have got Salem Montgomery coming on under severe pressure from both Sportelli and Conti. So let's just hang in here for a second. We're going to follow John as he pressures Salem.
Yeah, interesting that you mentioned that. John Sportelli getting around Marco Conti for that 14th spot, now putting that enormous amount of pressure on Salem Montgomery Jr., allowing Salem to just pull him around the track. Owes itself to some fuel consumption, fuel preservation there, no?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, John will just sit there and make the driver in front of you race in the mirrors until you make a little bobble, and John is going to go for it. Jolicoeur now, I just jumped up a little bit because it looks like Jolicoeur is going to make his move on Brad Maris any moment now. He is looking on the outside, and boy, Jolicoeur goes around on the outside. Can he hang on to it? And he does. A brilliant pass on Brad Maris into the chicane.
That was brilliant. Nearly textbook, and he just seemed to have just blown by him.
Yep. Brad.
You know, watching Jolicoeur drive this thing around the track at such incredible speeds, as he goes through Eau Rouge there, he's pushing that car quite heavily. I wonder what it's going to do for his tire wear as we see the rain coming down.
Yeah, rain coming down. Forget about tire wear. It's all going to be about grip.
Very, very interesting turn of events here with our weather. So we're going to have to hang in here with some of our drivers and see how they make out.
Absolutely. I have just jumped back up to our race leader because I am very interested to see what Ryan Schleif does and who's going to blink first.
Well, I think the important thing to remember here for these drivers is not to panic and not make panic pit stops here, because that can lead to all sorts of problems for you, falling back, losing position, and also interfering with others' races.
Well, as you mentioned, it will be. I am curious to see whose car is going to maintain the grip the longest, because if these guys keep pressing each other, it could lead to one of them having a disastrous result in losing grip and spin, and they both go way wide.
That they do, and the track conditions just went to damp now. We're starting to see the spray come up from the back of these cars, but Parsons not letting up on Schleif. I think Parsons actually smelling a little blood as he just about loses it there coming into the bus stop.
Yeah, and that's what I thought that myself. I thought, boy, that's one cagey driver there in the Wonder from Down Under, and this is where all that experience is got to fall to, you know, Aaron's advantage. Not taking anything away from Ryan. I think he's driving a hell of a race tonight. And Parsons going wide there too. So maybe Schleif does have a little bit of a grip advantage. It looks like he's put a bit of a gap on.
Yeah, and again, as I said earlier, these Pagani Huayras, they are just naturally high downforce cars. You can try. Oh, as Schleif just about loses it, but
yeah,
they're
exciting.
naturally high downforce cars. Yeah, these tires can become ice cubes fairly quickly in this type of condition, and it's up to the driver to make the best of their setup and try and drive through it. Again, don't panic, but drive the car gingerly.
Well, I hate to get off you two guys here, but it looks like Schleif has got a handle on it, and Parsons may just be backing off a bit so he doesn't overdrive and lose position. So I'm just going to cycle back a little bit. We got Schleif in first, Parsons in second, Preito in third, Pohl in fourth, Savoie in fifth, Roman in sixth, Marty Uren in seventh, Cole in eighth now, Moses ninth, Joliker up to 10 after he got by Brad Maris, who's in 11, Sportelli in 12, Christian Hamlin having a great run in 13th, Salem hanging on to 14th, and Marco Conti in 15th. Now that's an interesting spot there for Marco, because he's pretty nifty in the wet conditions. So Ludden in 16th, Calderon back to 17, Wathen hang on to that car there, John. McIntyre in 19, Wilkerson in 20, Monroy's car's beat to pieces in 21st. Gup Douglas in 22nd, followed by Liquid Lou Masciarelli. In 26, Hall in 27th, Taylor in 28th, and I'm surprised Greg Myers in 29th, Tressler in 30th.
Well, Greg Myers just came out of the pits. Looks like he blinked first, changed his tires, and Mike Tressler was in right behind him. So it looks like these two folks may have went in first and changed their tires, as Marco Conti now into the pits.
Okay, so we must be getting some really slick conditions out there.
Oh, Kevin Savoie bought it. He's out of the race, and he's gone.
Don't know where he did it, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was at Eau Rouge.
So Schleif still holding on, pulling out a 1.3 second lead over Parsons, but he's got the tail end of that Huayra kind of sliding a little bit. And I think the advantage he has there is that Parsons is doing the same thing.
Yes, yeah. You know, they're driving these cars to the extreme limit, and, you know, to slow down a bit, I don't think that he's going to give up much, because both of them know it's going to take one off, and they're going to lose a lot of positions here if they get off in the wet. The grass is very slippery, tough to get out when it's wet, and along with that kitty litter is not going to be fun to be in there in the wet conditions.
Yeah, no, not at all. But we don't wish that on them. We want them to continue making the best of this race, because it is it's a good watch. It really is.
It sure is. Schleif and Parsons, 1-2. Down into the chicane. And Ryan, you know, taking it very gingerly through there, and I don't blame him, and that's allowed Parsons really close the gap in that section of the track.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm just looking at the temperatures and the conditions, and notice that we started at near 100. We started at 99 degrees, and it's dropped down to 88 degrees Fahrenheit. So the track is cooled as it continues to rain here in Spa-Francorchamps.
On board with P2, Aaron Parsons in through Eau Rouge. And a pile of cars coming out of the pits. And folks, you can hear the rain. It is coming down pretty good. So, early pit. I wonder if I don't think any of the drivers reached their pit window on this one, and that might be what your leaders, Schleif and Parsons, are doing, is trying to get to their pit window.
More than likely. They're working on lap number 9 right now. So it's still early on in the race. 36 lap race.
Yeah, nowhere near. They're probably going to have to get up to maybe 12 or 13 laps to get anywhere close to the pit window.
Yeah, absolutely. These if pitting now would certainly mean another stop.
On board here, Johnny Mac just put a big pass on Sergio Calderoni. Very nicely done by Johnny McIntyre too in these slick conditions. Juan Monroy in P16 running right behind his teammate. And in P17 we have got Daniel Wilkerson, but he's got a big Ford GT with Lou Masciarelli in behind him.
Chris Moses now into the pits, just coming out of the pits.
Whoa, and a big slide by Chris. He almost put that in the wall coming out of the pits, so his tires got to be icy cold.
Well, the temperature continues to drop here, Jack, down to 87 degrees Fahrenheit, and the forecast hasn't changed a bit, so still calling for wet conditions.
Yep, just caught up with Paul Hall, and looks like Schubeck there as they go through Eau Rouge, and boy, Schubeck has lost it. And Schubeck puts it into the wall. We caught that on the broadcast. He's got it running, so he didn't lose his motor, but boy, he is in a bad spot there.
And it looks like he might have a puncture there too.
And that is a long way to go on a slippery track with a flat tire, as cars just keep flying by. Well, good on you, Thomas. Yeah. He's pulled it into pit lane to get a clean exit. So good rejoin, Thomas. Good on you. Take it easy going around. So back up front.
Wow.
We still got Schleif and Parsons.
Yeah, now Parsons sniffing exhaust fumes from Schleif's car.
Yep, and picking up a lot of that spray too. Well, I guess this is
like
the
Parsons is
big wide down there. Hang on, Ryan. Now I wonder who is going to bite first, and if Ryan dives in, will Parsons jump in behind him? They're coming into one of the most technical parts of the track down through Eau Rouge. Schleif very cautious through the bus stop there, or through the La Source.
Yep, and Schleif downshifts into fifth gear there. He knows better.
Yeah, I was right on board with him, so we caught that.
As he flashes his headlights on some lap traffic there. Oh, and look at this. Interesting, because it's Aaron Parsons' partner, teammate, right in front of Schleif.
Now, good on Greg. Looks like he moved right over. Attaboy, Greg. But, you know, he did have Aaron too, so the smart move was to let them both go through. And my hat's off to you, Greg. Good move.
Yep, and ironically, Schleif is coming up on his own teammate now.
And let's hope that Matt Taylor gives both these guys the same courtesy. Well, is this going to be the lap that they come in?
Very well could be. Although I have to say, Jack, that these guys are still running them cars fairly clean out there. We're currently working lap 11. Still a little bit early in my opinion, but you never know.
I think they're going to tough it out. I mean, they've gone a few laps now in this deplorable rain condition, and if they can hang, they're both going, oh, Aaron Parsons has put it in the wall. He still maintains his second spot. Oh, and Schleif is off, I believe, up ahead, or is that Matt Taylor who's getting out of the way?
Nope, that was Schleif. It sure was Schleif.
Yep. So, Schleif has made a mistake. Parsons has made a mistake. Almost a blown opportunity for Ryan there, as Parsons made the mistake. But now Parsons all over his rear end.
Well, I'll say this. Both mistakes canceled each other out.
They
so
did.
There's no advantage there.
They did indeed, but you know, if Schleif had been able, he could have been able to capitalize on that and put a bit of distance between himself and Parsons. But you're right. No harm, no foul. Both of them a little bit of a bobble there, so they are definitely feeling the wet track conditions now.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I know those slick tires are screaming for relief. Put on wets, but doesn't look like they're ready to dive into the pits yet to change. Parsons all over the back of Ryan Schleif, letting him know that he's there. And I think that the bobble by Schleif may have been because he was looking in his rearview mirror.
Well, it could be, but these guys are still out on their slicks, so we know they're putting on a great show. I think just about everybody else has cycled through the pit rotation. Or maybe not. His Preito might still be out on his tires too. He might not have pitted. Boy, oh boy. Ryan is in the fight of his NAGP career here with one of our most celebrated drivers.
So just looking at the lap times here, looks like they've fallen off 11 to 12 seconds per lap, which is pretty common here in the rain, considering that they're driving in slicks. So got to keep an eye on the folks that may have ducked in already to move up, as they may have put on some wets or some inters and have the advantage now, time-wise.
Yeah, and they definitely will if this rain continues. Although, if these guys can make it to their pit window, get a tire change, big advantage for them, because they're only going to do this in a one-stop and not a two-stop.
Yeah, well, hopefully it doesn't happen like it happened to us on Monday night, right, Jack? The moment you pit in, it stops the rain.
Yeah, that's the way my career goes at NAGP here. If there's a bad move to be made, I'm going to make it. On board with Parsons. Down through into Eau Rouge. Parsons dropping a gear there as well, so they're both taking it easy where they should.
Boy, that spray is really coming off the backs of those cars now, Jack.
Yeah, these conditions are not getting better. If anything, they're getting. I think it is. They might have some grip if they just stay online, and I don't want to get away from this because this is one of the best challenges we've had for P1 in a long time here. I see Krejnik has posted up. He's glad he's not racing in this slop. Moi aussi. Me as well. both of them. Schleif and Parsons sliding their cars around pretty good, but being able to hang on to it.
Yeah, right now that seems to be the closest battle going on right now on the field, just cycling through some of the other drivers. So quickly, the running order right now, you have Ryan Schleif in first, Aaron Parsons close behind him in second, Andres Preito in third, Marty Uren running fourth, Rich Roman running fifth, Brad Maris in sixth, John Sportelli up to seventh, Andres Cole taking advantage and going up to eighth, Salem Montgomery to ninth, Ian Joel, of course, slips down a little bit to 10th, John Wathen in 11th, John McIntyre in 12th, Juan Monroy in 13th, Sergio Calderon holding down 14th, Dan Wilkerson in 15th, and Lou Mascarelli, he rounds out your points paying positions in 16th right now.
Well, some great driving out there by all these guys. They got themselves all spaced out nicely. David Poole all the way down to 19th. I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah, he came into the pits.
Boy.
Came into the pits on lap, I don't know, what's that, maybe about 10. About lap 10 he came in.
Moses down to 20th as well. So we've got drivers that have pitted and drivers that haven't.
Parsons taking over the lead.
I'm sorry we missed that. Sorry, boys. You can slap us later for that, missing that one there. We've given you lots of airtime, but just happened to miss it. We'll hear about this one, Ken.
No doubt about that, Jack.
Not as easy as it looks, folks, to keep our eyes on all these cars out here. So Parsons a
now
big
it looks like
wobble.
Parsons. Looks like Parsons now pushing a little harder to try and extend his lead, but Schleif not letting him too far out of his sights.
No, and Ryan's just got to keep it clean and just stay with him. Now, nope, still raining. So the Wonder from Down Under takes P1, and yeah, putting a little bit of space there, but not a lot. And I think this is actually gonna, I hate to say it, but I think it's actually gonna help Ryan, because if Parsons dives into the pit, I would wonder if Schleif would do the same. And Schleif is diving into the pits now. Parsons staying out.
Yeah, I think that may be a smart move on Schleif's behalf, because he's getting the pit in early right now on lap 15, so about the halfway point, almost the halfway point here during the race.
Yep, he's in his pit window, so he's going to have a one-stop race going, and Aaron is going to hope that he can, number one, put a shorter pit stop in, and number two, maybe if he can squeeze a few tenths out of this lap out of here to come out ahead. But it's going to be interesting to see where they come out.
Boy, but I gotta tell you, it's agonizing coming into this pit road, because it is long, especially if you are pitted on the far side headed towards Eau Rouge.
Well, I sort of like being on the Eau Rouge side and the start-finish line in the pits, because that hairpin turn off the back pit lane, you can actually bump the wall and pick up aero damage before you even get out of the pits.
That is so true, Jack.
In third, Roman in fourth. Going to be very interesting to see when Schleif comes out and Parsons goes in. Aaron sliding that car all over the track. Ken, what's your call for tires?
Well, based, I would have to say if you're on Michelin's, Inters are the way to go. Probably for the Dunlops as well, and the Pirellis. Inters probably all the way around.
Parsons stays out.
None of the top 16 drivers have pitted yet, Jack.
Well, they're hanging on and waiting to see what... Has the rain stopped?
You know, just looking at the weather on board right now with Jonathan Cuppett, I believe that the rain has stopped in some areas of the track.
Yeah, I'm on board with Brad Maris in the bumper cam, and I'm not seeing the rain. I'm still seeing some glare.
But we're still getting the spray from the cars, so track conditions still damp. So Inter's the way to go right now, especially for damp conditions.
Brad Maris side by side with one of the Maseratis. Brad takes P4 away from Rich Roman.
He took it away from Rich Roman. Yep.
And pretty quickly says goodbye.
Good observation there, Jack. Absolutely. He just see ya.
He's just motoring, and Rich is going to have to step on that right-hand pedal that we call the gas pedal, because he's got John Sportelli saying, I want a piece of that as well. Sounds like we just lost somebody.
Yeah, don't know who it was. I know that we got Trussler and Hall. They're out. Trussler will take a DNF and Paul Hall out with an engine failure.
So we've got Sportelli running down Roman. And Sportelli way wide.
I believe we lost Myers.
No, not Greggy. Sporto into the pits.
Preito also in the pits.
And looks like we got Ian Jolicor or his teammate John Watson in the pits as well. Ian's in the pits.
Ian Jolicor in 9th now ducks into the pits as well.
Let's see. Let's see if Johnny Mack. No, Johnny Mack is staying out there. Lou Mascarelli, before he gets into his pit rotation, currently in 12th, but he has got Wilkerson all over his tail. Wilkerson runs wide, and Gup Douglas puts it off the track and parks the car. Gupper is out.
Yep, he bought it. Just caught that on my screen here, Jack.
Got Luden in the
car parts were flying all over the place.
Yeah, it was nasty. That was well, it was brilliant to watch, but it was nasty to be in. But I'm sure the medical crews will get him all patched up, and we'll see him again next week.
Absolutely.
Ludden and Conti leaving the pits. Schubeck in the pits. Matt Taylor nursing that Pagani, and he dives into the pits. So back up with your leader, Parsons. Are you coming in? He is. He is coming in. And now, where is...
Well, Schleif just passing Eau Rouge.
And you know, if...
And down the Kimmel Straight.
Yes, I just caught up with him. We'll see where he comes as Parsons comes out. But if the rain has stopped, this might be a brilliant move on Parsons' behalf. Is he going to choose a different tire combination than Schleif has got on?
Well, I'll tell you what, were I in Parsons' position, considering that the rain has stopped, the track temperature now starting to creep up slowly. I think slicks might be the way to go. They were holding it fairly well before all this started.
So Parsons currently sitting in 5th. And he is still in the pits.
Marty Uran, Brad Maris, Rich Roman, Andres Cole, and Montgomery Jr. all in the pits as well.
A beehive of activity there. Parsons done and he's rolling.
And it looks like he's going to get out well before Schleif gets to him. Schleif taking it wide into the bus stop.
Well, as you said, that pit lane has got to be the most agonizing pit lane in all of racing. And no, guess what? We just lost Aaron Parsons.
I just caught that. Wow.
He disconnected.
Wow.
And that's it for Mr. Parsons. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Man, that was one of the greatest battles we've seen all season, and I know that's not the way Ryan would have liked to have the race continue.
Nope, not at all. So your running order right now, Dan Wilkerson, Andres Preito, Sergio Calderon, Ryan Schleif, your top 4. And of those 4, Calderon and Wilkerson are the only ones that have not pitted. So once they cycle into their pits, will give Preito the lead? And if so, what will Preito do with Schleif on his tail?
Yeah, Ryan and Aaron were running such a great race. It's going to be interesting to see. And again, Schleif came in early, so does he have the right compounds on?
I'm sure that Ryan chose the inters, and considering that the track conditions are damp, however, we all know that the racing line will dry out fairly quickly, even in damp conditions. So looks like Ryan's going to have to take every opportunity to get off the racing line down the straights and cool those tires off.
Yeah, and you know, that's not conducive to keeping your rhythm if you constantly got to go offline to try and cool those tires off.
Nope, not unless you're racing at Monza.
Yeah, I don't know if that helped me at all, to be honest with you. Nothing helped me there. Dan Wilkerson is staying out. Well,
he must be getting some really, really good fuel conservation in that big V10 Viper.
Yeah, he must have the right fuel pills in his fuel pumps to give him that. Maybe he is looking to hang on and do a splash and dash.
Calderon ducks into the pits now and gives up that second spot.
So, I think we can safely say Preito is going to be in first. And Ryan has got some ground to make up.
Yeah, he certainly does, because he's I want to say he's about 21 seconds behind Preito.
That's not 21 seconds you want to have behind a driver like Andre Preito.
No, not at all. I was just about to say, you know, that Preito will hold his line and he'll just drive as smooth as finished glass. So not an easy task ahead of Schleif, who was our leader for first half of this race.
Yeah, and you know, geez, my heart goes out to Mr. Parsons, because he was running a beauty as well. Now, running right behind Schleif right now is John Sportelli. And, boy, John has closed the gap up onto Schleif and is all over Schleif's bumper. Schleif goes wide, and Sportelli makes the pass. So, I got to say, Ryan is definitely not comfortable with the tires he has got on there.
Nope, not at all. It looks like he's putting it sideways in some of the high-speed sweepers. I guess he's at this point, he's going to have no choice but to tough it out. And the track about to go dry here.
Sportelli way wide, but hanging on to it. Schleif having trouble at the chicane there. So Ryan definitely having trouble with his tire choice there.
Yep, and Jack, you know, we have about a half hour left of racing here and just looking at the weather conditions, if this thing goes dry within the next lap or so, and some of these guys put on some type of a wet tire, it's gonna play havoc with them.
Yeah, a half hour on a dry track here at Spa. If they've got anything wetter than intermediates on, they're not going to be able to finish it.
No, not without an additional pit stop. Then things will melt right off the rim.
So we've got Preito out in front. Marty Urin is taking that P2. Sportelli into P3. Schleif hanging on to fourth. And he's going to be doing his best to keep Sporto in his windshield. But guess what? In behind Schleif, we've got Ian Joliker. And if there is a man on a mission tonight, our boy in blue, Ian Joliker, is that in spades.
Yeah, and interestingly enough for Jolicoeur, let me just pull it up here. He pitted 3 laps ago, so he made his pit window. And it looks like Jolicoeur is ready to mount a serious attack here.
Indeed, and you can bet he is going for Schleif's position. But I'm still thrilled with the way Ryan is running his race tonight.
Oh, absolutely. We got to give credit where credit is due, considering Schleif starting on pole, leading the first half of this race, a tremendous milestone in his NAGP career.
On board with Ian Jolicoeur is he hunts down Ryan Schleif.
Yeah, and I believe that Jolicoeur will get this one fairly easy. Again, looks like Schleif may be having some tire troubles on that Huayra.
Down through Eau Rouge. And boy, Ian has got, that Huayra has got some serious straight line speed. I mean, Ian came out of the Eau Rouge with a good run on him, but could not catch him once Ryan got on the gas pedal. Jolicoeur on the outside. Jolicoeur now on advantage on the inside, but the Huayra pulls away again.
What
Joel,
a battle for fourth.
absolutely. We got Joel looking on the inside, and they're going to, a little bit of contact. Not enough to throw him off. But Joel makes a pass.
Roman gets into the mix.
And Roman taking a look at that spot. Me too. Make room for me. Roman, Schleif, a little bit of contact there. But Roman hangs on. So in the first sector of this track, we've watched Ryan give up 2 positions. Hang in there, Ryan. Lots of racing left.
Lots of racing left, and it looks like Montgomery Jr. creeping up as well in that 7th spot. Going to look to take 6th.
Boy, Ryan has got to be saying, give me a break, guys. Back off and leave me alone here.
Well, as we know, Spa, Belgium, this Circuit de Spa plays no favors to anybody, and she can be very brutal. Pick the wrong tires, and she's going to let you know about it.
Yeah, and a lot of strategy has gone into this one tonight. And I think that's probably been Ryan's only mistake he's made tonight is strategic tire choice there. On board with Salem Montgomery. As I mentioned earlier, that Wyra just has incredible straight line speed.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Schleif's got it trimmed out really nice. But the McLaren F1 is no slouch down the straights either.
No, not at all. As Salem is looking for a way through, inside, outside. He's saying, I'm coming, baby. And now on outside and makes a great pass on Ryan Schleif. Salem Montgomery up to P6.
Good on Salem, and wow.
Andre Cole, he grabs the back of Schleif and takes him out. They're both in the kitty litter. So it's Schleif and Cole gets back on, but he is toasted and left Ryan Schleif waiting for a safe rejoin. Ryan gets back on, but he has dropped all the way back down to P10. I'm going to speak my mind there, and I think that was a little aggressive on the part of Andre Cole.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Having been on board with both of them there, he could have held up just a little bit to try and make a clean pass.
I agree. I agree.
But no doubt the competition committee will probably be taking a look at that and rewarding Andres handsomely for it.
Well, if the last few races have been any indication, oh boy, Ryan, you have now got your hands full of Christian Hamilton. I think everybody is saying, well, if you can, I can too. And you know what? Ryan has had enough of those tires, and he knows if he gets a set of dries on that he is going to be still in contention, although long pit, long stop to get tires changed. I'm feeling for you here, Ryan.
Just jumped on board with Chris Moses back on P17. Doesn't look like the pit strategy was working too well for this race so far.
No, I'm not quite sure what's happened back there. Calderon is hanging on to P16, but I don't think it's going to be long before he gets Chris Moses all over him. So we got Lou Mascarelli in behind. Oh, geez, we just had one of the cars. Ludden in 19th, Cuffett in 20th. Marco Conti all the way down to 21st. Something must have happened to Marco there. That's not where I would have picked him to be. Schubeck in 22nd, Rolf in 23rd.
Yep, and that's your running order.
Yep, back up in front, the big Ford GT1, Andre Preito. And it looks like the track is drying out to everybody's slick advantage.
Marty Urin pushing really hard to close the gap on Andres Preito.
And just caught up with you there, and yeah, he's not too far back. I'm not sure if Marty's got enough laps left in the race to do it, but he's definitely trying hard.
They're currently working lap 24. So if this race finishes on laps with 12 laps to go, it's quite the possibility.
Yeah, and just pump back, and Sportelli is having a heck of a drive as well. Got himself into P3. And not far behind him, and I'm sure Ian, out of his windshield, gets the odd glimpse of Sportelli and said, I'm coming for the podium. Got a ways to make up, though. And Rich Roman in behind Ian Joliker. So Rich hanging onto the back of Ian's car as well. And another great finish, if you can hang on to this, is Salem Montgomery up to P6.
So Schleif now leaving the pits. Looks like he's going to come out. Wow, Chris Moses is now going to take over P15. Schleif down to 16th.
Ouch.
Looks like Mascarelli will get around him too.
Well, you know, for Ryan, he had his pole and a lot of glory there by leading the race in front of Aaron Parsons. I'm sure he is going to gain a lot of experience out of this race, so we can look for Ryan to pour it on for the rest of this season.
Yeah, if tonight was any indication of what we can expect from Ryan, I'm looking forward to a lot of good stuff from him.
Yep, I'm a little farther back. We got John Wathen trying to chase down Brad Maris. So, great team effort here with Joliker and Wathen. Andre Cole up to P9, Hamilton in 10th, Juan Monroy in 11th, and McIntyre, Johnny Mack, into P12. David Pohl was picked up in, come back up, he is now into P13. Running the Circus Lambo all by himself, though.
Boy, oh boy, just looking at the weather conditions, Jack.
Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so.
The skies are not an indication of it, but the forecast has just switched again.
Well, this could be...
And we still got a bit of racing to go.
This could be a lot of fun to end this evening's race. I'm just over on the leaderboard now. And yeah, Marty Uren and Sportelli, only 3 seconds separating them, but Preito has got a 15-second lead out in front of Marty. Now going a little farther back, we've got Wathen and Cole. About the closest battle we've got out there right now. Gonna have to keep our eyes open. If rain comes down again, these guys are gonna have a fit.
Well, as I stated earlier, the skies are not indicating rain. They're still very clear out there. So one thing we know about Belgium is that when the rain is coming, you're going to see the clouds cover.
Well, and the other thing we know about our weather mod, we don't know anything about our weather mod. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Still looks like there's a little bit of dampness out on that track still, though. So, Wathen in 8th being hunted down by Andre Cole, followed by Juan Monroy, Johnny McIntyre. Hamilton is in the pits.
So you remember how I mentioned there was a 21-second gap between Marty Uren and Andres Preito? Well, Marty Uren has managed to cut that down to about 14.5 seconds.
So, that's only been in the last few laps. Can he do it?
I don't know. I see clouds.
Yeah, on certain areas of the track it does look cloudy. It is going to be very interesting if we do get rain. On board with Ian Joelker, looking out his window cam here, and the skies look threatening.
Yeah, they certainly do on this side of the track, down by La Source. I think now is a good time to get out the feathers and dancing shoes and dance before the weather gods.
Oh, I would do that too, because it's not going to surprise me in the least to see it come down rainy. Rich Roman in 5th, taking a pass on one, looks like Wilkerson. You know, it would make it really interesting, but I'm not so sure I want to see another change up there. We already saw one driver take a severe beating on tire choice, and I'm sure that's what it was. We'll find out later, and probably in the post reviews you'll be able to read about what went wrong. I hope Ryan does post up a good one this week.
Yeah, so do I, Jack.
So, just climbing up the field here, I've got Marty. It looks like Marty is going to try and push for all he's worth, but I'm not so sure he's within sight or going to be able to do it there. John Sportelli is in 3rd, and John has got Marty in his sights.
Yeah, he's about 3 seconds back from Uren, and Uren now he continues to close that gap between him and Preito. Not sure that he's got enough time to mount a serious challenge, but he's certainly closing the gap.
Well, Sportelli is definitely gaining on Marty, that's for sure. I mean, he can see him. He's got him in his sights. And we know that Sportelli is very, very dangerous. And when it comes to the closing laps, he will push for all he's worth. So, do you want to take us through the field there, Ken?
Sure, no problem, Jack. So running in your first position, Andres Preito, Marty Urin in second, Sportelli in third, Ian Jolicoeur running fourth, Rich Roman is currently running in fifth, Brad Maris sixth, John Walton in seventh, Andres Cole in eighth, Salem Montgomery Jr. ninth, Juan Monroy rounding out your top 10, John McIntyre in 11, David Poole in 12, Chris Moses in 13th, Dan Wilkerson in 14th, Lou Mascarelli in 15th, John Ludden in the last points paying position in 16th. Oh, I'm sorry, we just lost somebody further up, so that Lou moves Ludden up to 15th.
Absolutely, and I can give you the update on that. I watched him as I was cycling through the cars. Salem Montgomery has disconnected.
Oh, that is a shame, as he was doing so well.
Oh man, he was. There's two guys, three guys my heart's going out to tonight. You know, one is Aaron Parsons, the other one's Ryan Schleif, and now Salem Montgomery. I mean, they were all having great races. I mean, Ryan's still racing, but boy, oh boy, to lose on the disconnect is a heartbreaker.
That it is, and Ryan Schleif, having put in such a good run, unfortunately running a lap down right now, so slim to no chance of getting that back, simply because we're currently running lap 28 with less than 10 laps to go, and the weather conditions again have changed over to dry and sunny, so these guys should be good till the end of the race.
Yeah, and it's not even going to help Ryan now if the rain does come down, because he is obviously switched back over to dry tires.
Yeah, the extra stop certainly killed his race tonight. But again, as you stated, Jack, I believe that this will be a huge learning experience for Ryan Schleif, and hopefully he can take the lessons and apply it to future races. Again, we look forward to great things out of Ryan.
Yeah, been a pleasure to watch him race tonight, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of his car as the season progresses. So, Preito out in front. Lead down to about 13.5 seconds now. But Sportelli, Sportelli's got a lot of work to do. He's got about 10 seconds to Urin. But you know what? Sportelli better keep an eye out for Ian Jolicoeur.
Yeah, Jolicoeur about 5 seconds back from Sportelli, and Jolicoeur looking to make up some of that ground as he has got Sportelli in his view.
Yep, got a bit of lamp traffic going on there. And he's just got one car in between him. I think that's Lou Mascarelli. So I know Lou will be a gentleman and will let him slide through. And I know they're on the Open Chit Chat channel, our Saturday channel, so you can bet that Ian's going to be telling them, hey, Louie, coming through.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Jack.
Oh, Ian puts it way wide, off into the grass, but able to recover. Well, he's lucky he didn't pick up any damage there. Well, it looks like he might have picked up some damage. Left side of his car looks like it might be a little beat up. And not going to help him. And was that Sportelli? Sportelli has just spun the car. Sportelli has spun it at the bus stop there. A lot of action going on here.
He gifted third spot to Ian Jolicoeur.
And now in behind is Rich Roman, says, give me a bite of that one too. Wow. All he needed to do was keep it clean, I think, and he would have been able to run out to the finish. So Roman in 5th, and he is now pushing Sportelli as Joliker makes it to the last podium position for P3, and that has got to be a fabulous run. I mean, he started with a no qual at the back of the pack.
Just a quick update here, Jack. Looking on board with John Wathen in 7th position. He's trying to make a push to pass Brad Maris for the 6th spot.
Just join
like
that action.
Keep up on.
And John having a great race tonight. On board with the dash cam, John Wathen. Boy, and it sure looks like Wathen's got some half-decent exit speed out of the corners.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way, and no doubt he's probably following Brad's line around the track. We all know that Brad holds really good lines just about on any circuit that he races, so that's certainly something I'd be looking to do.
Yes, absolutely. I know any of you drivers out there, although Wathen is all up over the back now of Brad Maris. Brad is our resident instructor, and now Wathen going on and making a brilliant pass there. Hangs on to it at the source and down in through the start finish to Eau Rouge. Atta boy, John.
Yep, I think Brad just conceded the spot, simply knowing that John Wathen has some pace on him there, so good on him for not impeding the progress and letting John Wathen by.
Yeah, you know, as I mentioned, you know, to any of you guys out there, you need help. Brad Maris is our leading driving instructor, and if you need some help, give him a PM. He's more than willing to help any of the drivers out to improve, and that's what it's all about for our instructor extraordinaire, Brad Maris.
Back up front with Andres Preito, he's pretty much running alone, so he's taking the scenic route around the Belgium circuit here, and just keeping it clean and smooth. He knows that if he can do that for another few laps, he'll be taking home the trophy tonight.
So Joliker up to P3, Marty Urin in P2, and barring any big incidents, although you know what, Joliker can see that yellow car out in front of him, and that might be all Joliker needs to put a late push on, but I don't know if we're going to have enough laps to get that accomplished.
Yeah, I don't think so, Jack. The gap is it's substantial.
Yeah, you know, we've only got 5 laps left in the race, and it would take a mistake by Marty at this point to allow Joliker up to grab that spot. So, Roman in 5th, Wathen in 6th, and John getting around some of the lap traffic very neatly. Brad Maris in 7th, and Andre Cole 8th, McIntyre in 9th, and Juan Monroy in 10th. That's your top 10 drivers. The rest of the guys look like they're pretty spaced out. We've got David Poole in 11th and Chris Moses in 12th. They're running by themselves out there.
Yeah, they are. So you know, it looks like Andre Preito may have had a trick up his sleeve by pitting early and taking over the lead here.
Yeah, it was Quite a brilliant move. I hope his fuel calculations were good. And I don't know how he really did it, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't.
Nor do I.
No. It's always a mystery to me, these guys that are magic in the pits. I can never seem to do it. So there's your race leader, Andre Preito, Ford GT1. Your race leader and your driver's championship leader, although he has a hairy one coming out of Eau Rouge there. And Marty as well. A little bit of a knuckler coming out of Eau Rouge.
No doubt tires are starting to wear this late in the race. Remember, they pitted roughly about 15, 16 laps ago. So, and they've been pushing hard ever since on this second stint. So no doubt that these tires are starting to wear some on them.
Yep, Sportelli still has Joe Leclerc in sight. And Rich Roman still has and that is Christian Hamilton and John Ludden.
Wow, yeah, look at that. John Ludden all over the tail of Christian Hamilton.
Yep, giving it all it's worth for P14. Yep, on the dash cam with John Ludden, those skies are blue again. And Ludden really breathing the throttle.
Sam Rolfe parks it off into the grass in P20.
I see that as we're on with Ludden. So it looks like Hamilton has collected himself back up with a little bit of gap there. Lou Mascarelli in P16th, but our early bright light, Ryan Schleif, is closing that gap and probably saying, I am getting in the points no matter what. Oh, I think we have, there's Schleif getting into the back of Mascarelli and spins him.
Uh-oh. Yep, certainly should have held up there a little bit. There was enough time for him to hold up.
Yep, a little aggressive there going in into that chicane. Lou's got it back going again. I don't know if he's, yeah, he's running again. Doesn't look like he's got too much damage. And Sam Rolfe's got it going again, back on the track, so. Cycle back up. Here's your race leader, Andre Preito.
Yeah, Sam Rolfe was there for a while off in the grass. Not sure exactly what happened there.
No, he's going to have to talk to his pit crew about that and see why he was out mowing the lawn so long. So we got Preito, Urin, and Joliker, 1, 2, 3. Sportelli in 4th, and Roman in 5th.
Looks like Roman trying to close that gap between him and Sportelli. He's got it down to about 4 seconds, but Sportelli not letting up one bit in that McLaren F1.
No.
Proving a bit tough for that Maserati.
Absolutely. You know, John had that one little bobble that cost him that spot. And that's about the only big mistake I've seen John make all night.
Nevertheless, a really good run by John Sportelli, holding down fourth in this very competitive field at this very, very challenging track.
Yes, and I see up on the chat board that Mr. Schubeck put it over the wall.
Well, sorry to hear that, Schubeck.
We did watch you rejoin the track in a very good way there when you did your 360 into the pit exit. So good on you, Thomas, and come on back and have a better race next week. Attaboy, we like to see everybody having fun out there. So are we getting down near the end?
So from 30, we're down to 20, Jack. 20 cars still running.
And we must be getting down to the last lap or two.
Currently working on lap 35 for Andres Preito, so when he crosses the start-finish line, he should be working lap 36 if we do not run out of time first.
Well, let's take this opportunity, run them down for the last time.
Yep. And in first position, Andres Preito, Marty Urin in second, Ian Jolicoeur third, John Sportelli fourth, Rich Roman in fifth.
John Wathen in sixth, Brad Maris in seventh, Andre Cole in eighth, Johnny McIntyre, great run for him in ninth, and David Poole in 10th.
And Chris Moses in 11th, Juan Monroy in 12th, Dan Wilkerson in 13th, Christian Hamilton 14th, and John Ludden in 15th. And it looks like Preito took the checkered flag.
Well, there you go. That's going to put Marty Uran in second and Joel Kerr in third. So the running order is pretty much as we had them. So a lot of mayhem going on there. Sportelli coming across in fourth, Roman in fifth. Wathen, a great finish for John Wathen in sixth. Good on you, John. Brad Maris in seven. Andre Cole in eighth. And you got some splaining to do, Andre. McIntyre gonna finish out in ninth. Yeah, these guys got a way to go before they finish their race.
Yeah, David Poole still running 10th, and Chris Moses in 11th, Juan Monroy 12th, Dan Wilkerson in 13th, Christian Hamilton 14th, John Ludden 15th, Schleif in 16th, the last points paying position, Lou Mascarelli in 17th, Marco Conti 18th, Jonathan Cup in 19th, and Sam Rolfe in 20th, which will round out your last of the running cars.
Well, another good one, and that was really exciting, I think. I don't know about you, but I was thrilled to see Mr. Schleif there put in a great race. Fire your crew chief, Ryan. Get another one. And maybe next week we're going to see you running up at the front, and I look forward to it.
Yep, absolutely.
So another one in the books. Some good points for Preito and Roman. That'll keep them up at the front of the pack there. That was a lot of fun tonight. The changeable weather caught some guys out. And I thought we had a great run from the guys who started at the back. Unfortunately, Greg Myers didn't finish. But good on Ian Joliker for coming up and finishing real well. So for myself and Kenny, Hot Rodriguez. What do you say, Kenny? You gonna be back next week?
We most certainly are, Jack, and thank you folks for tuning in to NAGP TV tonight, live from Spa, Belgium, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, and keep in mind, the opinions of the broadcasters are not indicative of the NAGP. They're totally our own opinions, and if you don't like them, too bad. They're our opinions. So, Kenny, we will see you next Thursday.
Yes, we will, Jack. Absolutely. Good night, all.
Night, and catch you next week.